Romans chapter 15, verses 1 through 13. This passage is about how we treat one another, how we love one another, how we build community. We are communal beings. We are social beings. Um, Let me give you an illustration. There are some animals, like mammals, like tigers and male bears. They live alone. They hunt alone. For example, for mating season for bears, once in the summer, they mate and then they're done. That's the only time they see another bear. Bears generally don't hang out with one another. They don't want to be with each other. Tigers too. They live alone. Wolves and lions, on the other hand, are communal mammals. Mammals, they live in communities, always. They live in packs or dens, and always they can't survive on their own. They would die by themselves. People are more like wolves and lions than we are tigers or bears. We are not meant to live alone. We can't physically or psychologically live by ourselves. God actually designed us that way to live in community. So, on a basic level, we are communal animals, and we need to be with one another for community reasons and also for self serving reasons. We need to be in community because we get something out of it, survival. We use community and other people for our own advantage and benefit. However, we're more complicated and sophisticated than wolves and lions, and we want more than just food, shelter, and protection. We make friends and have community for a whole host of reasons. I can't possibly list them all, but we need love and the affirmation of friends. We like to be appreciated. That's not necessarily shallow. We need the affirmation and love of others. We need others to tell us that we are loved, good, and worthwhile, and valuable, and cared for. We need someone to say that the world would be a worse place if you were not around in it, and I'm glad you're here in the world. You make my life better. We need that. And I can see more clearly now, after working for many years at jobs, that no matter how competent you are at your job, you need to get along with others. You need to be agreeable. There needs to be some give and take. You need to be nice and build up some trust and credibility among your colleagues. It's more important and essential than I would have ever imagined. However, these normal desires and even good desires can have a darker manifestation. The need to be affirmed can be a sort of quest for popularity. And I'm thinking about the worst excesses of social media, the constant need for likes. I'm thinking about people who so desperately want to be loved and liked and accepted by other people that they'll compromise or lose their own moral core, their integrity. The normal and good desire to be collegial at work and get along can be corrupted into a gross form of politicking, manipulating people through charm and flattery for your own ends, and lying to them and stepping on them once you're done with them, only pretending to like them to get something you want out of your job. I mean, this dark side of doing things for your own benefit, it could have other manifestations. I I can imagine I find people that will be a benefit to me, and I try to like them, and I try to get them to like me because it's good for me. If I hang out with good-looking people who are polished and slick and popular and seem to have their act together, maybe I hope it rubs off on me, and I hope that I'm perceived as being part of the beautiful people crowd, and people will think that I am like that. Maybe I hang out with people or certain kinds of people because it advances me. It promotes me. It helps me climb the ladder of success, and they can help me. And maybe if I hang out with people that appear to be losers, I'm afraid that'll rub off on me. And maybe people perceive that I'm a loser. I don't want that. And it won't advance me. It might drag me down if I hang out with that kind of company. Or maybe just on a very basic social level, I just like hanging out with people who are fun and agreeable and witty and cool. And I don't want to hang with lame people because their conversations are dull and boring and uninteresting. And it's a chore and it's a task being around them. It's just not a fun way to spend my free time. I don't have that much free time. That's not how I want to spend my leisure time. We're grown up now, or we've grown up a lot, but it's like we never left middle school or high school. We're still anxious about the cafeteria during lunch hour and where we're going to sit. Are we going to sit with the cool people, or are we going to relegate to the lame geek table? I just ask yourself, and I'm going to ask myself too, who do you hang out with? Who are you drawn to? Who do you want to be with? And why do you like them? And what are you willing to do to fit into that group of people you want to be with? What are you willing to do to maintain your status in the group of people you're with? And what is it about them that you're drawn to? These verses, Paul is telling us to do something really radical. He's telling us to go against our basic normal human instincts in nature. He instructs us to bear with the failings of the weak, and don't do it to please yourself. Don't do it because there's any benefit to you or even like it. The word bear, to bear with them, just put up with it. It's not that you perceive them as being weak. They are literally weak. Or put it another way, it's not that you perceive those people as being lame. They're really lame and not that interesting. They're not that cool. They're not that smart. They're not that great. And they may not be fun to be around with. They may not be fun to be around, or you're getting nothing out of being around them. The company doesn't advance you socially or professionally or even personally. They're just not that fun. So why do we do it? Why does Paul tell us to hang out with people or bear with people or be tightly bound, be in community and be bound with people that are weak? Why do I want to hang out with weak people? I want to hang out with strong people. Why do you hang out with people that are beneath you socially, intellectually, or otherwise? Now, why do we have love for them? Well, Paul says, and this is true, because we imitate Christ. What was Jesus like? What did Jesus like? What were his preferences when he was on earth? I mean, who would have been Jesus's natural peer group or community? I'm putting my own biases here right now, but I think if Jesus came right now, I think he would really enjoy hanging out in an elegant, classy faculty lounge at Oxford University. And I think he'd hang out with theologians, philosophers, scientists, artists, and novelists and talk about great stuff with them. And I think the conversations would have been fast, witty, funny, stimulating, deep and profound and original and creative. He'd be surrounded by the greatest scholars and writers and artists and thinkers of the world's ever produced. And I think the banter would have been unbelievable in the faculty lounge. Jesus, you're brilliant. You're the best. You're like as smart as God. And Jesus would have said, well, yeah, I kind of am. But that's really true. Man, you're smart too. Oh, no. I mean, I think it would have been great. They would have been talking. And I think Jesus would have had a really fun time on earth if he did something like that for a few years. Jesus could have done that. Easy. When Jesus came down, there were a group of really rich, beautiful, popular, and powerful people. The Pharisees, the Sanhedrin. He could have gone straight to them and they would have loved him. He would have gone straight to the top of the pyramid. They would have welcomed him. They would have rolled out the red carpet for him and he would have loved it. They would have loved him. He would have had a really good time. But he didn't do that though, on purpose. He made a beeline straight for the prostitutes, the lepers, the sinners, the outcasts. Who did he pick as his disciples? A tax collector, some fisherman, kind of low in the totem pole of social hierarchy and education and classiness. Jesus was not going for fun or gratification. He wasn't going for self-advancement. What motivated Jesus? Compassion. He went to the people that needed him most, and he loved them. That's what God calls us to do. Go to the people that need to be loved, that need help, that you have compassion for. It's not about self-advancement.